So I'm using the front facing camera and I've tipped over the camera so many times because doing it this way I can't get the microphone as close to me as I want it to be. But I want to make this video about the one thing that is required no matter what you're trying to do. And that one thing is consistency. Like, I feel like it's said because I feel like all the knowledge or all the information we need is technically already there. Like, it's already in front of us. We just don't listen. Because I don't feel like there's anything new I'm going to say that somebody else hasn't already said somewhere online that consistency is the answer. Because people get caught up in. I hate that shit when people be like, oh, I tried meditation, but it didn't work for me. Or I tried psychedelics, but they didn't work for me. I tried working out, but it didn't work for me. And it always clicks to me that what they mean is that it didn't work as fast. It didn't work when they wanted it to work. Like, when they wanted it to work, like people just want to work out for a month and then be in great shape. They want to meditate for a month and then be like Zen masters or something, right? Like people want quick. They don't want real results because real results take time and it takes consistency. So like I've said this before, if all you could do was two push-ups, then do two push-ups, right? Like, who gives a fuck what everyone, like, your friends might laugh at you and be like, ha ha ha, you can only do two push-ups. But it's not about how many you can do. It's not about how hard you work out. It's not about like how long you meditate for. It's about consistency. The man that meditates for 2 minutes a day is better off than the man that meditates for 30 minutes every 6 months. Like, meaning, like, it's just about consistency. If your friend's like, hey, I could do 20 push ups, but they only do 20 push ups once every 6 months or so, like, they don't really work out. They can do 20 push ups, but they don't really work out. You're better off doing, if you, all you could do is 2 or 5 or 10 push ups, you're better off just doing 2 push ups every day or like 3, 4 times a week. Like if you could literally just add these little things into your life and then be consistent with it, it'll change your life. Like I started off doing push-ups, right? Back in 2017 or the end of 2016. No, I think it was 2017. Um I started doing 50 push-ups and I would just do 50 push-ups like 3 times a week. But when I came up with that idea in my head where I was like, I want to do 50 push ups, like 3 times a week, I couldn't even do 10 push ups in a row. And it was at this point in my life, I haven't done push ups basically since high school. So I was like, well, in high school, I was able to do like 30 push ups. So I figured, oh, I could do 50 push ups. I'm grown now. I'm older now. but no, I couldn't even do 10 push ups. But that's what I mean. I was consistent with it. So I could only get up to 8 push ups. So I'm like, all right, whatever. So then the next day I did 8 push ups. The next day I did 8 push ups. Then the next day I did 9 push ups. And then eventually I got to 10. And so forth and so on. And now I'm over here where it's like my record, my high all time record. So it's like I'll do how many push ups can I do in like 3 hours, okay? So in 3 hours, I did my old record was 500 and what the fuck was it? 520, I think. And my record right now is 626. I think it's 626 or 624. But it's 624, I'm pretty sure. But That's what I mean. I, I would have never got, I didn't get to doing 400, 500, 600 push ups overnight. I started off with 8 push ups. And then I was consistent with this thing since 2017. Now, there were times where I stopped. I mean, there was a lot of shit that happened from 2017 up until now, right? Like a lot of shit. Um, but I started adding these certain things into my life. I was consistent with the meditation. I was consistent with the spiritual psychedelic practices, right? Where I was consistent with these things. Where everyone around me looks at me like I'm crazy. But I'm just consistent with what I want. I said, like 10 years ago, I said I wanted to be a modern day shaman. And I was consistent with the lifestyle that I'm going to have to live to make that real. Like, I was consistent with the process. And it's like, this is why I think it's all about enjoying the journey, enjoying the process, because that's the main thing. Like, that's the longest part of the whole thing. You getting your dreams, or you getting in shape, or you getting this end thing, that's just the end destination. And everyone's chasing the end. But, like, they should be figuring out how to enjoy the chase. So, like, because then consistency is easy. It's easy to be consistent if you're enjoying what you're doing. Like, I was consistent with these videos. Like, I've made over 1,000 videos. I have less than 1,000 subscribers on my philosophy channel, and I have less than 2,000 subscribers on my Trip Report channel. It's not like I get millions of views, but if you only think of the end destination, you're not going to want to push harder and continue on the thing. But if you find a way to enjoy the process of what you're doing, it'll be easy for you to just continue. It's easy for me to continue making videos whether I get a lot of views or not. Because I don't do this for the views or the likes. Like, I do, like, I originally, it's like I just started expressing myself because I had some, like, really bad shit going on in my life. And I was like, I need to express myself. And but then it turned into something so much more because, like, I just enjoy all of this. I enjoy making videos the same way I enjoy making music, the same way I enjoy, like, everything else I do. I just enjoy what I do. And that's why I do it. I enjoy the process of everything I'm doing. So I think that's the key. Figuring out how to enjoy what you're doing, because consistency is the only way you're actually going to get results. You'll never get results if you're not consistent with what you're doing. So, and I know it's hard, and I know it sounds like, because like I said, there's nothing I'm going to say that has never been said before. But I just hope people understand that it's like there's nothing I can do for you besides tell you the information, right? Like, where it clicked to me, I'm like, the only reason I'm starting to get results in what I'm doing is because I've been so consistent with it that I just keep doing it. Like, I don't give a fuck about the views. I don't give a fuck about the whatever. I don't care if people make fun of me saying, "Oh, you can't be a modern day shaman. You can't do this." Okay, that good for you, buddy. That's good. But I know what I'm doing with myself, and I was gonna be consistent with the thing whether it worked or not. Like, I wasn't concerned about becoming a modern day shaman. I'm not concerned about becoming a philosopher or becoming a musician or becoming, like, I'm not concerned with the end destination to anything I'm doing. I'm just doing. Like, I don't know, I love making music. So I continuously make music, but it took consistency for me to get to the point where I can make the music. Because I was telling my daughter about this when I was 12 years old. Okay, so when I was 12, I got FL Studios, which is the beat making program I used to make music on. And it was so complicated that I didn't understand shit about it. Like, I didn't understand anything. I couldn't really use it. It was just basic shit, and I didn't understand. So it took consistency from 12 years old up until about 18 or 19. 18 years old is the first time I'm actually made a real beat. So 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 6 years. Like, I started recording on like vocals and stuff. So I started on like mixing vocals. So I would record people's songs and then I would mix and master their songs to make it sound professional. Now, people wanted me to do this for them because I had a certain style to my mixing. That was only because I practiced it on myself by recording my own vocals and then fucking with the thing, right? Like, I took this music production class when I was in high school, but besides that class, all I learned is the knowledge. It's the same shit I'm telling y'all, where it's like, in that class, I learned what I can do, but I learned that he can't teach me that. So my teacher once told me that he had a friend, a mixing buddy, and there's a 30 band frequency equalizer, which, just for those that don't understand, that just means that there's um 30 bands. So 30, I don't know if you ever seen a mixing board that has those things you could turn up and down, those knobs or whatever. So imagine there's 30 of them, and on the this side it's the bass, like all the bass sounds, all the bass frequencies. On this side, it's all the high pitched frequencies, and in the middle, it's all the middle frequencies. Um, he said his friend turned all the frequencies down and like turned one frequency up with some headphones on to then basically close his eyes to hear what that individual frequency sounds like on its own. And then he did this with all of them. So that's what I did. But him, my teacher telling me this wouldn't have helped if I didn't do it, because there's the shit that I learned by actually doing that taught me how to mix frequencies and understand. Like, I can hear a frequency or hear something, and I could be like, someone else could be like, yeah, it sounds great. I could be like, yeah, but this one frequency, some of the mids are a little too high, some of the highs are a little too high, some of the bass needs to get a little higher, but I need to turn down certain frequencies in the bass, and like up other frequencies in the bass, like up 40 hertz, or like 60 hertz or 70 hertz, and maybe put down 120 hertz a little bit, or like, just, I started learning all of that, but I only learned that by actually attempting the thing. Just consistency, practice, being consistent. But of course, it sounded like shit. Like, everything I did sounded like shit in the beginning. Everything I do was shit in the beginning. My videos, who I like, shit, who I am as a person, like, everything in the beginning was shit. But with consistency, it started working. Like, the whole thing started working. Like, I don't know. It's all the same shit. It all works the same. That how I got to learn how to make beats, and when I went through the breakup 2 years ago, at that point I've never touched a DJ, controller in my entire life. So I took an entire year to learn how to DJ. So it's like, I took a whole year to learn how to DJ. And it's like, well, I could say 2 years ago, I never even touched a DJ thing in my life. But now I'm getting pretty good at it. Like, I'm not great, but I'm getting good at it. And it's something that I needed to learn, because I'm like, well, I make beats, but how could I perform my electronic digital music? How do you perform it is I'm going to need to learn how to DJ. So that's what I did. But like, it's like, well, 2 years ago, I'm like, well, I want to get in shape. So then I started going from 50 push-ups to a whole entire workout routine added into my life. And then consistency. Nothing happened for the first year, really. Like, the first year of me doing door pull-ups and doing way more push-ups and just working out in general, like a year, it's like nothing changed. But then it was like 2 years into it, I'm like, okay, I'm starting to see the results.